Hey everybody, it's Jackie, and another month has gone by, and of course that means another journal flip on my channel. I started thinking about it, and I think I've been posting these every month for like 2 years now or something. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's just a way of life for me now. So this is my latest book. It's my fall book, and there's a process video available on my channel if you want to see how I made the cover. And it's just like a handmade journal that I purchased at Papyrus, which is a card store in the same vein as Hallmark. I used a tree, or a leaf, that was the first one I saw that fell off a tree, to put it on my cover. I left the inside pages empty. I'm still waffling on this. I might put a nice picture of me and my husband on there. I may not. And there's also a process video on my channel for this one. But it's basically, I had made my own collection, my own fall collection this year, and I showed that on a previous video as well. And so this sticker that says September, this washi tape, and this tab were all handmade by me. This is a sticker I had. I did a little bit of distressing stenciling, and I just painted a stem on the flower and just wrote some words. Then I was feeling like sketchy, and I wanted to do some drawing and some painting because this paper is like super nice for doing little watercolors and doodles and things on. So the first thing I did was just talking about how I made 7 coconut and banana cream pies, like mini pies, and I just took a picture of them and I decided to draw them. If you guys know me, you know I don't like chunky books at all, and so when I said I'm going to take on this book that's like a traditional sewn binding, it was also a challenge to myself to do more drawing and use fewer photos so that it doesn't get as chunky. So this is kind of a creative challenge for me as well, moving to this format, and this was kind of the first part of it. I had a photo of these pies, but I decided to try to draw them instead, and now I just love how this page looks, and I'll remember the pies, and it worked. So I just drew and watercolored that, and then I just stamped a border because I had room. I hand lettered my title, and then I just wanted to mark the date that I started rereading Game of Thrones because it's an enormous series, and I just want to kind of find out how long it takes me. So if I started on September 7th, I want to mark the date that I finished, and then I'll know how long it takes to read that much. But I made a note that it's 4,451 pages, and then I drew all the sigils of the major houses in the book, and then I just kind of watercolored those as well. I stamped up here, and I think this is actually stamped too, or I might have hand wrote it, I can't remember. But then I went back to kind of my traditional style of journaling, which is photos and watercolors and everything I can find in my stash. So we went canoeing on the Humber River here in Toronto, and it was just such a lovely day. So we had a 3-person canoe. This is a selfie my sister took of me and my husband there, and there's a picture that someone else took of us on the canoe. And those are our 2 friends that kayaked along beside us. I used stencils and my Ecoline brush markers to do my title, and what I'm finding is that even though they're my favorite markers, on this particular paper, they bleed every time I use them, so I didn't really get a crisp line around my title here, but that hasn't stopped me from using them. I love them. I'm going to use them. This journal spot and the date here were from some things I made for my little collection. Put some washi tape here and just did some stamping there. Then I thought I'd try illustrating a page, and it turned out so great. I was really happy with it. It's my first time using Neocolor 2 crayons, and it definitely gave it a very, I don't know, crayon-y look. Like you can see texture lines in a lot of it that you don't get when you use watercolor, so I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't used them since. I really should. So this is a picture of the lighthouse in Peggy's Cove. And I did some journaling on this page. It's under this tape, and I had to cover it up because it has some personal details in it that my husband has to do with my husband's work, so he didn't want me to show them. But what I wanted to say is that when I did an illustrated page like this, in order to put my journaling on, what I did is I did a light wash of gesso where I wanted my journaling to go, and then I just outlined it with pen. And then that way you can still see the art behind the journaling, but the writing shows up really well. So I wish I could show you that technique. It turned out really cool, but I'm afraid I can't show that journaling. The next picture was just kind of a joke. It's the very first leaves have changed color. My sister and I went to the park, and all the trees were green except this one tree. I don't know if you can see, it had 2 spots of red leaves on it. And I was like, that's it, it started, it's happening, fall is here. So I had all these leaves in my stash that I had die cut last fall and never used. So I used those to make a border around the, like first I put orange washi tape down around my photo, and then I stuck down all these leaves, I glued them down, and then I just used some brown watercolor to paint around that. So it's a really simple page, and it turned out, I think, pretty cool. This is probably my favorite page that I did all month. I wanted to list the highlights of the weekend, so I did them in this box form, and I learned to do this from the book Whimsical Lettering by Joanne Sharp. And this is a label, but the rest are all drawn. I used some Mambi stickers up here. I used a Lawn Fawn stamp there. I put a photo here. So just some different things in each block. I'll just kind of go in a little bit so you can see them. So yeah, I just listed all the highlights of the weekend there. And then my husband and I went to San Diego. There's another video on my channel if you want to see a flip through of the travel journal I kept during that time. But whenever I keep a travel journal, I always put a marker in the book just saying, hey, there's a separate journal, go find it. And again, I used my Ecoline brush markers, and again, they bled, so I outlined my title with a black pen, and then it doesn't look so much like it was a mess of feathering. And I just put my favorite selfie from the trip down there, and these are just some Mambi stickers. I used a Tim Holtz stencil up here, like a Starburst stencil. Used my typecast typewriter to type out my journaling. The next one's called Poppin' Cookin', and these are just some funny little kits that my sister and I did, that they're like make your own candy kits. We got them from the Japanese dollar store Daiso, and so then I just put pictures of the things we made. We did an ice cream set and a sushi set and a little donut set, and these are pretty much true to life. Like they're little 1-inch candies that you make, and it's just a fun little kid's toy we were playing with. I did a stamped border, and then I used my gold watercolor to kind of paint around the dots. Like this, the stamp was dots, and I painted around it. And I just did some vertical journaling because that's the only room that I had. But this was cut off the box that the Poppin' Cookin' came in. It was a thick cardboard box, so I just tear the cardboard off, like the cardboard layer, and I just use the top layer. That way it keeps my book from getting too bulky. Then the next page is just talking about what the first day of fall brought with it. And I love how my header turned out here. I just used Mambi stickers, this banner, and then this one that said fall, and then I just used watercolor to do kind of a dash across. And then I stamped some things in here, and actually now I can't even remember what they were, and it totally was a mess. It didn't look good at all, so I just covered it up with more Mambi stickers. Put 2 planner stickers to really cover up whatever it was I put there. I really wish I could remember what it was. Oh well. And then I put this piece of washi tape and a little fawn rub on, and I just put some of my stickers down for my numbers and the journalings. I'm trying to leave more white space. I find I really struggle with leaving white space, so this page, it kind of worked. The next one's family Skype night, and so I just drew a picture of what the Skype screen looked like, who was there, and I just used my typewriter to put the names in the squares, and I just watercolored it. And then I used my dilution stamp to stamp out my title on this picture of newsprint. And I used some of my homemade washi tape down here and some of my homemade elements up here, and did some writing. The next page, if you're on my Facebook group, you've seen this one already because I had to show it to my sister as soon as I did it because she's in it. My Facebook group, by the way, we're over 500 members now, and it's blowing my mind. I'm so excited about it. People are sharing their journal pages, and if you are a creative journaler or you like looking at pages, I invite you to come join us because we're having a great time over there, and I would love to see your pages. So this one is just a jelly print that I stuck down, and it looks like I did all this work on the page, and I didn't. I just stuck down a jelly print, which is so easy, and then I stuck my photo on that. I did a title, which is Suffering, no, Stair Climbing, and I crossed it out. I thought that was pretty funny. I used acrylic paint to do this title so that it would match the paint on the jelly print, and then I just used a brush pen to do this one, and then I just used a white gel pen on a journaling spot to do my journaling, and this is one of my Mambi fitness stickers. And it was like a rectangle, and I cut out the words. So it's a really simple page. And then here's my big news. My husband and I are moving. And this is what all this, I've been showing you guys blanked out journaling for 2 months now because I haven't been able to post any of the details. But what I can say is that we are moving, and it's really exciting. We're moving to St. John's, Newfoundland, from Toronto, Ontario. And it is a big surprise to us because we thought we were moving to the Maritimes, which is where we're from originally, but instead we're going to Newfoundland, which, while it's kind of close on the map, it's also, if you want to take the ferry from one to the other, it's like a 16-hour ferry ride. It's ridiculous. You kind of have to fly in and out because it's an island. So we're going to be a little isolated out there. The winter's a little bit harsher there, but we're still really excited. We're going to be there for probably a year, maybe more, maybe less. And so I was just kind of writing about that, about the day that we're going. And then I had this, I I didn't have a moving truck sticker, obviously, so I used this ice cream truck sticker from like a summer collection, and I just covered up where it said ice cream with like some Mambi stickers, and I covered, there's a picture of an ice cream cone here, and I covered that with another Mambi sticker, and then I just typed out another truck full of our stuff and stuck that down to cover up any evidence that it was an ice cream truck. And I just stamped out now is the right time, because we've been waiting to move back to Atlantic, Canada for, I don't know, 8 years now. I got a new phone because part of moving is that we have to change phone plans anyway, so I got the upgrade that I was due for. And then I just traced it. I just took my phone and set it down, traced around it, and then I used some black ink to paint in the inside, and I just drew some details on it. And iPhones come with stickers, so I just put the sticker in the middle. I used a Winsor Newton gold marker to write out my title. And then I did my writing using well, first I did a pink watercolor wash on the page. Then I edged it with Tim Holtz Distress ink. And then I did my journaling. I wanted it to kind of fade into the background. So I used a light gray Staedtler Triplus Fineliner pen, and I think it turned out pretty cool. And then I just stamped out a list of some of it, because my husband got me a good deal on it. I wanted to make a record of it. And I wrote that one in a darker gray pen. And I think this page turned out really, I don't know, it looks really illustrated, and I'm really loving this look. I'm gonna try to do more pages like that. Then we had date night with Sherry. She's one of my close friends, and she's on the Facebook group too. So Sherry, if you're watching, hello. And she came over on last Wednesday, and we took these funny little, what are they, Snapchat things, where we looked like puppies, and the best ones are these burly lumberjack faces that we did, and foxes, so I put foxy ladies. And I just used alphas to do my title. I just stamped some diamonds on it, because she's so glamorous, and watercolor anywhere that there was space after I put my journaling down. And then I reached the first indigo page, and I love the indigo pages. They're just like I don't know, they're such a nice break from the plain pages. And so I just talked about how this is my 3rd season of choir, and I just used actually I've got it right here, I'll grab it. It's just a Pitt pen. It's a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist White 101 pen to just write out my title and doodle around my photograph. And then I use these Heidi Swap stickers and journaling spots so they match. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's some really subtle music note stamping on there too. I just used a background stamp. I like that page. And on the other side, we have Oktoberfest at the aquarium. So my husband found out that they were shutting down the aquarium for a night so they could let everybody in to hold Oktoberfest. They had beer vendors and pretzels and an Oompa band. And you just had free run of the aquarium. It was so fun. So I've been there a million times before. I think this is my 4th trip. And so I wanted to do some different kind of pictures. So one thing was that because we were there at night, the fish were sleeping, and they were all tucked into their little fishy beds. So I put that one, that picture in, and then you always take a shark selfie when you're there. There's like a sign, take your shark selfie. So this time I had 6 people in it, which was interesting. Normally it's just me. And then there's a spot where you can have a photo taken. So we did that, and they give you props, and a shark like sneaks up behind you. And my sister's boyfriend dressed up like a beer for it. It was pretty funny. And then I just put a picture of all the schnitzel and the pretzels and the strudels that we ate while we were there. Use little Mambi sticker here. I didn't have a beer stein, so I just drew one on computer paper, and I colored it with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers and stuck it down. And now I have a beer embellishment. And then these are the last 2 pages. This one was just kind of talking about hanging out with my sister for the day, because we're kind of just doing all our last Toronto things while we're here. So my sister and I had a super fun downtown day. So I just wrote about that, and I used my, what is it called? Crafters Workshop City Skyline stencil and some black distress ink, some black soot distress ink to do the buildings, and then you just trace over it with a pen. So that's a really easy stencil to do, and it looks like a nice city. I've used that a few times. This is some homemade washi tape I did following a tutorial by Courtney Diaz, the Raven ink. Oh, I'm running out of time, so I'll go pretty quick. So it's pretty straightforward though. I just did some hand lettering Mambi stickers. And then we get to my October divider, which is just a watercolor background. These are Mambi stickers, some washi tape, a tab, and this was just a die cut I had in my stash. Beware. Yeah, so that's it. I'll be back in a month with the next update. October is going to be an exciting month. Thank you so much for watching.